In today's video, we're going to be seeing if smarts or strength matters more in WorldBox. We're going to be separating them for 500 years and letting them build their civilizations up slowly before taking the wall down in the middle and seeing what happens. But first, we need to set up our world. We'll start by placing the ground. Then we'll build our wall to separate the strong and the smart. Now let's give them each a diverse range of biomes. And we'll make sure each side has about the same amount of each biome. And we'll sprinkle in some harsher biomes just to make it more interesting. Now let's add in some lakes, because it doesn't matter how smart or strong they are, they're both still going to need to drink water. Now we're going to make sure they have a lot of resources, lots of ores and stones and other things. This will be helpful for the early game. I don't know if they need all these resources right at the start, but they'll come in handy for later on. And then we'll give them some chickens, some sheep, and some cows as well. Now we're going to place 5 humans on each side, and give 5 on the left the genius trait, and the 5 on the right the strong trait. And right away, both sides create their kingdom, and we're going to make sure that we know which one is which. So we're going to label the left side smart, and the right side strong. And at the start, even though the strong are right next to a desert, the first thing that they do is construct a campfire. But after a little more time, the geniuses start setting up homes and tents for their people, and are taking advantage of all the strong resources that are right next to their city. But after a few years, it seems like both sides have built up quite well, with the smart even building some sort of town hall building, as well as a watchtower to look over the wall to see what the strong are doing. And after about 25 years, both sides have decided it's time to find out what's past the lake, and have started to construct buildings and other structures on the other side. But along with exploring the other side of the lake, they've also ventured deep into their own forests, as well as setting up campfires and windmills and farms all around their land, and making sure to recognize the great gods that gave them all this wealth, by building statues to show appreciation. And after about 90 years, both sides have almost fully expanded into their side of the map, but then a sudden rebellion would split the strong kingdom into 6 different groups, greatly weakening them versus the smart, and splitting their power between 6 kingdoms. And while one of them would get taken out fairly quickly, it looked like the rest were here to stay, as shortly after this war, an alliance would be created between the remaining 5 kingdoms on the strong side. And although it only started with 2 kingdoms, the Power of Friends alliance would soon stretch to the entire side that the strong lived on, meaning that even though these kingdoms were separate, they would all work together and help each other out if something were to go wrong. And after 200 years, each side has almost fully expanded to each corner of the map, but all the kingdoms have avoided the biomes like the tundra and the swamp, as the grasslands and the savanna offer much better opportunities for growth and provide better land to create houses and stockpile resources on. And after 500 years, it seems like each side has stockpiled quite a bit of resources, and they're both equally armed with the same kind of weapons and armor. But now it's finally time to take the wall down and see how these 2 civilizations interact with each other. But first, people were confused. They didn't know what was happening and why the wall had just disappeared. But they were also friendly, and no war started immediately after the walls dropped. People from each kingdom were going to the other side to see what it was like. But this grace period wouldn't last long. It's only after 17 years full-out war had broken out between the 2 sides, and the smart had declared war on the Power of Friendship alliance. And it did take long for their border to dive into complete chaos, and cannons from the ships parked on their lakes relentlessly fired at each other, and the smart viciously tore into the purple kingdom of the Power of Friendship alliance, and taking the first victory of this war by completely conquering it. But as this was all happening, the strong had launched an all-out attack on the bottom half of the smart kingdom, as well as expanding up the middle and taking a huge part of the middle portion, forcing the smart into the top left corner. But the smart weren't giving up that easily, as they were able to fight back and take the middle portion of their land back. But the ships of the strong were too powerful for the smart to match, as the strong ended up conquering it again and taking even more this time. And the little cities that they were allianced with were fighting off the smart very well, allowing the strong to go in for the kill and take out the smart completely. And eventually, the brute strength of the strong army was just too much for the geniuses to overcome, as they were fully conquered, leaving only one new kingdom left, where the strong let the people of the smart who surrendered keep some of their land, And now with the war over and the strong victorious, there was only one question left. Why did they build this crab statue?